we have to catch up on a little news, a little FPS news. So we got an announcement from Marathon. Now, if you remember anything about Marathon earlier this year, it is an extraction shooter. They did have an alpha phase earlier in the spring of this year, and it went kind of okay. There was a bunch of creators that went out to play the game, but naturally, what is a game without some controversy, right? When Marathon hit the scene, it was giving alpha, and then they fell into a little bit of hot water because they got caught stealing art designs from a artist. And of course, nobody likes big companies and big corporations stealing from small, average working people, especially artists. When we are in the midst of the whole AI debate and people protecting their work and protecting their art. Naturally, that did not go over so well with a lot of people, but it seems like they fixed that situation. They got in touch with the artist, I guess. They were able to strike up a deal that the artist was happy with, and so it seems like they rectified that situation and made it right. But back in the alpha phase, Bungie got a lot of feedback from a lot of players and creators and whatnot, and from that they had a lot of work to do. Now, fast forward, last week, Bungie announced that Marathon is back. There was a closed alpha for it, and I did try to apply again. I applied for the closed alpha the first time, and I didn't get accepted. Sad face. I really hate that for me. And then I tried to apply again, and naturally, I didn't get in. But now we're here, and last week, Bungie dropped a 22-minute documentary showcasing what they brought new to Marathon, and they are planning for a March 2026 release. Of course, we have a competition now because we have Arc Raiders that has been killing the scene. It's brought everything to an extraction shooter that people are vibing with heavy and that we needed. Now we have Marathon coming back into the picture, and they're basically trying to take a page out of Arc Raiders' book. They added a bunch of new things, including, of course, proximity chat. And we all know proximity chat is what really makes Arc Raiders great. Now, for me personally, I am not in the business, I always say this, I am not in the business of knocking games before I try them. And personally, I freaking love Arc Raiders right now. And Arc Raiders has really opened me up to me wanting to try more extraction shooters. Like, I want to play more extraction shooters, more good ones, more kind of not as hardcore as Tarkov, but more of now an intermediate step up from Arc Raiders. And Arc Raiders is difficult. Arc Raiders is still a challenging game. I'm not saying it's great for noobs, but once you get the hang of it, it can still be challenging, especially playing trios where it's really PvP heavy, and you got to get good and be good at PvP too. So I personally am kind of looking forward to Marathon. Now, it's not going to release free to play. It's also going to release at the same price tag as Arc Raiders, which is $40. So what I want to do is, I did watch the documentary, but I want to rewatch it and try to really pinpoint some things and really listen to what the developers are bringing new. So let's rewatch this again and really kind of look and see what I'm noticing here that's kind of eye-catching.
Players want more challenge. The whole point of an extraction shooter is that you're challenged to even survive in this world.
Right. I mean, to me,
we heard loud and clear from the alpha, the world didn't feel dangerous. The world didn't feel lived in.
I mean, to me,
forward to us is this place that really doesn't.
This doesn't look bad.
That sort of survival narrative really fits really well with the kind of.
It really doesn't look bad to me. And of course, naturally, you have people on the internet who just hate video games just to hate for no reason. And I know a lot of Destiny fans out there are, I get Destiny is very beloved by the community. I know a lot of people might have preferred Bungie to focus on Destiny, but everybody is saying that it looks really blocky. It looks like freaking Roblox, a freaking Roblox extraction shooter. And, you know, that's kind of true. But to me, it doesn't look bad.
That we're creating.
The world needs to feel like there is something sinister underneath the surface, even when the colors are really bright.
I like bright colors.
We want to marry the classic Bungie game feel, where you are blasting stuff in the face. And
now that gun, it does look like, it does look Robloxy. I'm not gonna cap, but I mean, it looks good.
If you want good loot, you have to go to places where you're taking risks, either risks from other players or risks from AI.
So we have all these tools now, Rook with ProxChat, and the way the game works and sort of how tense it is. I think all those things work together really well.
One thing I do like is the Rook. I like the kind of Rook mode. I do like the Rook mode. So basically what the Rook is, and how I'm understanding it, is that you can drop into a match solo like midway through, and if you need to like recoup on, maybe you had a couple of bad rounds, and you need to recoup on some of your gear and whatnot, you can kind of go in and just scavenge off of bodies that are already dead, basically. So it lessens the stress of PvP while also giving you the opportunity to kind of get some loot. And I like that. I think that's cool. I think that's very different from like Arc Raiders, where you just spawn in the middle of a match, sometimes way towards the end, and all the loot is gone. You know, you don't really get an opportunity to really get any loot. So I like the Rook idea. I think it's very cool, personally. I think that's very cool.
The Marathon ship is essentially a ship that we sent out from Earth, an Earth that was overpopulated, to explore and colonize a star far away that we call Tau Ceti. In a lot of ways, it's like the tale of humanity trying to go out into the dark void of space, find a place to colonize, and failing.
Right. So backstory on Marathon. So Marathon came out in the mid 90s, around the mid 90s, in 1993, and this was a Mac game, an Apple Macintosh game in the 90s, and it was kind of a direct competitor to Doom at the time, because Doom was on PC, and then of course you had the Apple Macintosh come out, and of course Apple needed some games. So Marathon was that game for Apple, and it released to pretty decent numbers. People enjoyed it. It was definitely a success. It was a kind of a cult classic game. People really enjoyed it. And of course, in the 90s, video games were definitely getting way more popular. Towards the end of the 80s is when video games started popping. So to have a game like Marathon on the Apple Macintosh was pretty neat. And it was a pretty successful game for the most part at the time. So the theme is this ship, you're on this ship called the Marathon, and you're basically trying to like fight aliens, and you're kind of in the midst of this like kind of alien apocalypse type vibe. And it was an FPS game, of course, which is the current Marathon right now. So a little bit of a backstory to Marathon.
Terribly at it.
Everyone's gone, something catastrophic happened, and it's not just their absence that's important, it's the things that they left behind.
The modern race to Tau Ceti all started when a mysterious signal came through the galaxy.
The turmoil that sort of ensues gives rise to all these corporations that were invested in this Marathon project, now going, what happened? How do we recoup our investment?
And then layered on top of that is the greed and corruption of all of the different factions and corporations and revolutionary groups.
I like the lore.
People out,
I
not
like
just
the
discover
lore.
what happened, but also to collect from the things that remain there, and those people are runners.
As a runner, you're a biocybernetic mercenary who's traded their human body for a biosynthetic one.
You're not an unkillable god slayer. You are a mercenary, a disposable mercenary. You will live, you will die.
They are not people. You are the person. You go into that shell and adopt the personality matrix that is specifically designed to help you do the thing that you need to do. And
I think that's very cool. And one of the jokes that I was seeing on social media was that in the first alpha, a lot of players were saying you couldn't run a lot, or there was something called there was a heat buildup. I think they said there's a heat buildup mechanic, which is basically the opposite of Arc Raiders. So in Arc Raiders, you lose stamina, versus in Marathon, it's inverse. So you actually build up heat the more that you run. And I guess in the alpha, the pre-alpha, the one in the spring, the heat bar would raise up really, really quickly, so you couldn't run. So a lot of players were saying that they were spending so much time walking when the characters in the games are called runners. So I really hope that they kind of fix that, because yeah, if you're a runner and you walking, that doesn't make very much sense.
you've been hired by these factions to come to Tau Ceti to scavenge it for anything that might be of value.
As a runner, you've left your body behind. You've traveled light years so that you can have access to the ultimate payday.
With extraction shooters, it is all about survival. There are other people who want the same things that you want,
Right.
and it's up to you to best them.
Okay, so those are the extraction points.
But there's quiet periods where you're listening for the anticipation of something. Could there be another crew in the distance?
Sound is
hear a
important.
gunshot?
We know that for a fact
Did
from
I
Arc
hear
Raiders.
AI just alert?
It sounds
and then there's
pretty
the loud,
good.
bombastic action moments where the minute something is alerted, the minute you're in that fight, now it's go time.
Okay.
Players particularly pose a lot of danger to you. They can make a lot of decisions that you might find
I like that
illogical
shotgun.
and completely trick
I
you
like
into
the shotgun.
scenarios.
I like the guns. Yes, they do look blocky,
Sometimes
but
the best loot box is
pause
another
here. Let me
place.
look at this UI. Now, a lot of people were complaining about the UI. I think it looks okay. Like if I looked at this, if I was like a completely noob, I had never played any type of shooter before, this looks easy enough to get. It's pretty straightforward, which is good. So you have your backpack, I guess, which is your backpack.
Boy, if you don't
And then when you open something, this side is where the things in the container pop up. Then you have your guns, first weapon slot, second weapon slot, equipment. What is that? Is that like grenades or something? Shield and implants. Ooh, I wonder what implants are. Are those like special skills? Cores. Interesting.
Player that you see along the run. So there's a few different ways you can play the game. So one of them is you can play in crew, both with your friends and also through crew fill, which will just match you with 2 other players. You can play solo, and you'll jump into a game with a bunch of other solo.
Solos is important. A lot of people, play solo. And one of the reasons why I like Arc Raiders is that you can play solo versus being forced into a team all the time, which is good. So adding the solos, adding the prox chat, pretty big.
players.
In solo, I think the stakes are a bit higher, right? You have only yourself to rely on.
You still have prox chat, so you can call out to other solos, but you are playing a tense alliance game where
It's basically
it's
that's Arc
really up to
Raiders.
them whether or not they decide
Which is
to honor
good.
or
I like
respect
Arc
the alliance
Raiders.
you might have created.
I like Arc Raiders, so I feel like I'm gonna
It's all
like
about figuring out
Marathon.
what's your investment, what's your stake, when to get in, when to get out, and when to kill the other guy. Being good at Marathon is like playing poker with guns.
One of the things we've really focused on is making sure the environments are selling the tone we want to hit with the game.
We've brought a little bit of groundedness, a little bit of grit, a little bit of darkness, a little bit of that mood. That
Now,
kind of
one
is
thing I
necessary.
will say is honestly, the lighting looks a lot better than Arc Raiders. It's not like freaking pitch black in there, which I kind of like. But again, that is something specific to Arc Raiders and the world of the Rust Belts and, you know, being topside. Like, of course, it's going to be pitch black. Like, that's natural for the lore. But I do like being able to see a lot better in this game. Is like I can see what's happening more.
A little bit of darkness, a little bit of that.
It's not
mood
as
that
dark.
kind of is necessary for an extraction shooter to feel dangerous.
Our biggest goal has always been player immersion.
We're trying to keep everything as believable and realistic as possible.
So we cranked up all the material responses, feel accurate, feel realistic. You know, you'll get gloss, you'll get crud and mud. And no one of those things
you
is
know,
all
the
that
world
sexy,
looks
but
good.
You layer in just a little bit more, you know, responsive to light, a little bit more responsive to the player. Things will part, water will pool. Layer in all these different things. The world becomes much more alive. It feels like a real place. And then when you're feeling like a real place and you feel in danger.
Ooh, wait a minute. Okay, now that person's highlighted. I wonder if that's a skill. Is that a specific skill for a specific runner? I'm guessing. Intriguing. So you kind of get like a. That's another difference that I'm seeing. It's looking like there's different skills that you can have versus in Arc Raiders, there's no you have a skill tree, yes, but you don't have like skills where you can like see people through walls or something like that. So to me, Marathon is like it's basically like Apex and Arc Raiders combined. It's like this extraction shooter, but with you know, with the proximity chat and everything, but the runners also have like abilities. So like you can highlight people. You might have a character that can like move faster, or you know, they like the characters have different abilities, which I think is gonna set it apart from Arc Raiders.
In danger. Now your run matters.
And then you can see characters going invisible.
I look back at some of the alpha shots, and it's kind of hard to tell when it's sunny or when it's rainy. Weather feels like weather now. But like when it's sunny,
I don't
this
know,
really
that
nice,
looks
like,
good to
bleaching
me.
effect. It feels bright. It feels like warm when it's sunny now. I feel like we're just celebrating that color.
It looks
so much
good.
more.
I like how it
Just
looks.
contributes to the whole effect.
So we have dead bodies in the game now. We also have like decay on the runners themselves. Like you'll actually see them fall apart. We're
That's
actually
good.
dropping the
Good
body.
source
The
of
body stays there, and
information.
the body
So
slowly.
another information, you know, they added the body goop. The more goop that's on the ground, the more that you know that whoever killed this person is probably very far away. And if there's no goop on the ground, that might tell you that, you know, there's another player nearby that you have to be wary of. And I like that. Another cool way to get sources of intel. I like that.
Decays over time as you loot it.
So you come into a room and you see a bunch of carnage, but you see one body is still pristine, you know that their killer is probably close, and you are not safe. If everybody is just a messy goop, you're probably okay.
Audio is a huge gameplay component in Marathon. Every sound plays a function.
I think this looks good. I don't know why people just love to hate so badly. I don't know. I'm feeling like I want to play this.
Footsteps tell players everything. It's telling you what is the type of threat that's around you. Where are they at? Are they above you? Are they far away? Are they close by? So if I'm in bioresearch and I hear a particular material type, I know, hey, they're on the second floor and they're in this room.
Audio is
Hero
important.
is the world. We have 4 zones, and each one of those zones has its own sort of approach to kind of
So
level
they have
design.
4
and what it
maps
asks
right now.
players to kind of think about and do. You're going to start with perimeter. You're kind of on the outskirts of the colony. It's a little more spread out. You got a little bit more.
The maps
areas
definitely
to be
remind me of
safe and to
Apex for
sneak
sure.
around, but it's also a little more straightforward.
It really brings this sense of scale. It sits like in our fantasy as
That map definitely reminds me of Olympus.
Of where they had settled on Tau Ceti. UESC are also there trying to understand what has happened and secure the area. Death is a part of Marathon. It happens a lot. Even on perimeter, which we talk about as a more friendly zone to new runners.
I like it.
Marathon has a lot of loot in it. It's a huge pie. There's a ton of different implants at every rarity. There's a ton of different runner cores.
What are the runner cores, though? What do they do? Heat capacity, that's what it is.
For each runner, there's over 400 weapon mods. Like it's
400
just
is a
an
lot.
outlandish number of items to collect.
There's going to be a really interesting period of discoverability where players sort of figure out what are the pieces.
What does that say?
Outlandish number of items to collect.
There's going to be a really
Volt resistance version 1 plus 1 shield slot. Oh, heat capacity reduces incoming UESC damage from Volt weapons specifically. Oh, and it's kind of like Tarkov in a way where some items are bigger and they're gonna take up more stash space, which I kind of don't like. I like how in Arc Raiders everything is just the same size square, which kind of keeps everything uniform. But it also gives you the added challenge of managing your stash. So you just kind of have to be mindful more, which I like, which is why this gives me more of an intermediate style of extraction shooter versus a noob style, which is Arc Raiders.
interesting period of discoverability where players sort of figure out what are the pieces that I have available to me, how do I get them, and how do I put them together into something that's awesome.
Yeah, see, they have abilities. Whoa. These characters are going to have abilities, like separate whole abilities. You're going to have a healer, you're going to have a tank, you're going to have a DPS. So it's going to be very different. Marathon is going to have some of the same elements of Arc Raiders, but it's not going to be the same game.
Like a frontline tank. If you want to play a rat character that wants to sneak around.
Yeah.
If you want to find
That's
those
huge.
Rats, we have a shell for you.
That's a big deal.
The idea there is like have a broad spectrum that everyone can kind of find a little bit of a home to, and then we're going to build on top of that.
I like that. I like that.
Mold the kit into a play style that you want.
So examples of those are like on Thief, I get a second grapple. On Destroyer, I pull out my Riot Barricade, and as it takes damage, it's actually converting that damage into shield back to me.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
these can be used in combination with each other to shift the gameplay style of your runner kit.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So we have a lot of stuff. We have a lot of freaking stuff coming to Marathon, and I just don't get why are people like so quick to hate it. You know what I mean? To me, it doesn't look bad. We have proximity chat, we have runners with abilities, we have over 400 different weapon mods, we have 4 maps. I don't know. I can't hate the way it looks right now. I'm looking forward to seeing more about it. I'm just trying to understand, like, and it's been something that I've talked about. Like, people just want to hate everything. I don't know why that is. Like, why do people just want to freaking just not even give something a chance? Now, I get it. You know, it's gonna cost $40, and when you're spending your money, you know, you want quality. I don't know. I personally think I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna give it a chance. So I don't know. I guess let me know how you feeling about Marathon. I think it's gonna be kind of okay.